Hello and welcome to my vlog. Today we're going to start a whole new series, reading one book a month with full spoiler feel. Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If those are new, my name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to start a new series on my channel where we read one book a month and then have spoiler-filled information about that book throughout this vlog as I'm reading it and my reactions as I read it. So this month's book is called The Chamber by Will Dean. Again, this is the second book that I've read by this specific author. I'm excited to see if it also becomes one of my favorite books. The last one is an all-time favorite, and so I'm excited to see if I like more by this specific author. So we're going to be reading this one. I did start this one last night. Today is November 7th, so I started this book on November 6th, and let's see how long it takes me to read it, how I enjoy it. It is about 6 deep sea divers that are part of a hyperbolic chamber, and they live in there, and then they have to work through the decompression, and at that time somebody becomes up dead, and then how do they do to survive when another one becomes unconscious. So what exactly happens, and it's all kind of interesting to see how this plays out, twists, turns, playing on the psyche, and are they seeing things, or what is actually happening, if it's a paranormal. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So I'm excited to read this book. At the beginning of it, there is a couple of pages of actual glossary. So it kind of talks about each of the different terms and definitions for them, which is very helpful to be able to refer back to throughout the book. They do start off with explaining each of the different terms as it progresses in the story, which is very nice. But if you ever need a refresher, because there's some acronyms that they use after the first time they talk about it, you can refer to the glossary at the beginning of the book. There is also a diagram of what they're actually living in, and so how this actually works for their deep sea diving and their process. And so it's kind of cool to see what they're actually kind of picturing what they're talking about. I'm a very visual learner, and so being able to picture it is very helpful as well. I am really enjoying it. I am currently 26 pages into it. So I read 26 pages last night. I'm on chapter 4. And so I'm enjoying it so far, meeting all of the 6 divers and the crew that lives on this ship above the water that's maintaining this vessel for them. And so it's kind of cool to see all the different terminologies, learning some, but also getting to know the different characters is a lot of fun. So so it's a great start to this reading vlog. I will check back in when I have a better update. Thanks for everybody wanting to watch this one. Hopefully it becomes another bestseller for me. All right, talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, so let's do a reading update for The Chamber by Will Dean. So I'm now about 125 pages in, I believe. Let's just double check here. 124 pages, chapter 26. A lot has happened, and since I got to, so basically 100 pages further into the book. And so I just have a lot to say, a lot to talk about. This is so weird to have to can share spoilers and all of the things, and so this is kind of a fun new recording for me. So I am really enjoying this. There are definitely some interesting terms and acronyms and things to get used to with deep sea diving, which is a lot of fun. The main character, the narrator of the book, is a female, and she's the only female on the whole ship, including the other divers. And so she's one of 6 divers and the only female. And so we're getting her perspective as things unfold throughout the story. And so so she's also documenting it. She's filming what she can when it's safe to do so, and so making sure, because it's a lot of hard work, tight spaces, a lot of moving around in very tight quarters, and then also asking her dive mates if she can record them or not, and like checking all of their cords and helmets and all of their things that they need for deep sea diving. It's kind of interesting, and so one of them didn't really want them to film them, which is kind of interesting. And so so she filmed the other 4 divers and herself, and so 5 of the 6 she was filming their procedures and everything. So it's just life within this small chamber. And so the main character Brooke and then Andre, which is another of the deep sea divers. They're paired together, and so for the very first call down to the ocean floor to repair this oil rig, this oil machinery that's down at the bottom of the ocean. And so she's the one that first is tasked with going down to the bottom of the ocean, and her partner Andre is in what they call the bell, which is a space between the actual tube to go down to the seafloor, and then also where they live in their chamber. So Andre is waiting up in the dry space of the bell and is monitoring things as she works down at the sea bottom floor. And so she's the first one to go out and work on the fixing that they need to be done for the specific job. And so she spends a full 6 hours and fix things up. She gets the fix that she needs to be done and ascends back into the bell where Andre is waiting for her. And some things go wrong, making it a very pressure-filled moment. And so she's trying to have to keep her panic at bay and all of that, but they get it figured out. And so then they ascend then into the chamber where the other deep sea divers are living and relaxing and just hanging out. And when they come back in, they come to see that they are trying to get a medic to help one of their divers. He seems to be non-responsive, and having to get a medic involved to see how they can do to help him. So it's very traumatic to come in back into the chamber after 6 hours away and seeing that one of their teammates is actually under medical duress. And I was very, didn't know who I would want, because I knew from the synopsis that one of the divers is found dead. And so I just didn't know who I'd want it to be. I really didn't want it to be Mike or what was the other person's? It was either Mike or the other Jumbo. Jumbo was the other two that I didn't really want it to be, and then those are kind of two that I was really hoping it wasn't. And then I knew it wasn't Andre because he was with the main character, Brooke. And so it turns out it was the most rookie of divers. It was Teabag. It turns out that he was unresponsive and not breathing. And so they proceed to do CPR and everything they can possibly do to help them. But nobody else can come into the chamber because it has a specific heliox, which is what they're breathing. So it's a different, and they're compressed. It's very hyperbolic chamber, so nobody else can enter it to help them. And so it's up to the 6 of them to try and save, well, 5 of them to save the 6th person, which in turn they did not. And so it was just really sad to see, and they're such close quarters and how they deal with that. And then what they had to do to collect evidence from Teabag. And so, yeah, so just very disheartening and very sad to read through some of that. But it was interesting to see that it was like the most inexperienced diver died. So they still don't know what caused it. He just never woke up from the night before. And they just thought he was sleeping in, and then turns out he was non-responsive. And so, yeah, so then that was very interesting. So they do collect a bunch of evidence, and then they go ahead and move him into their life preserver, lifeboat, they call it, and seal him in there so he can decompress and remain in there so they can get to him sooner rather than later, and hopefully probably do some sort of autopsy to see what happened. I'm not sure. And so they kind of collect themselves, do what they can. They talk to the chief of police, and this is like he's starting to do an investigation to see what he can find out what happened. But yeah, so then not much further along in the story. So later, not much further into the day, Brooke goes to take a shower, and they're on the other place that they can do that, and they're in the wet lock. And then she comes back and another person is unresponsive. And I'm like, wait, what? A second person? Excuse me. Yeah. So another person turns up dead, which is so surprising. I just thought it was just going to be they're unconscious. But no, it turns out that another person has already passed away. And this time it's Spock, which is a another of the divers. And so, yeah, and he has a wife and 4 little girls, which is very sad and devastating. And so now I'm left off as to what are they going to do now? Like, what is going to happen? How are they don't have any place to put yet another body because they closed up and preserved the other body in their lifeboat. So what do they do now with this one? And so they still have 4 days. They did decide to go ahead and move towards decompression. So in 4 days, they'll be able to get out of the chamber, but it's still going to take 4 days. So what are they going to do with Spock's body now that he has also passed away? So it's just a lot to think about and what's going to happen, what's going on. Is it an illness? Is it the mixture of gases that they're breathing? Like, what is causing these deaths? Is it a murder? What is actually unfolding? So I think we're finally getting into the story of what's some twists and turns, and hopefully some of the more of the psychological thriller part of the suspense parts of it, because right now we're just doing a lot of information and getting to know the different characters and things and their job and about deep sea diving. So now maybe we'll get to more of the suspenseful parts of this book. So yeah, so there's a lot going on. It's very interesting from a woman's perspective and in a man's more world of career field, and just kind of getting to know what they're up to. So I'm curious to continue. There's a lot unfolding, so hopefully now we get to more suspense. So I will keep you posted with an update once I have some more thoughts. Talk to you soon. Good morning. So today is the very next day. I last night read to chapter 39, which is halfway through the book, and I have a few more thoughts now that I'm halfway. So I wanted to just touch on the topic of the divers, and they're all just talking about their backstories and what led them to this current dive, how they got there, their backstories, like I said. And so I am just ready for more psychological thriller, twists, turns, what exactly is happening. There's just a lot of story. We're already halfway through, and there's nothing paranormal, thrillery, nothing really truly happening. It's interesting learning about the deep sea diving and stuff, but what is really going on? I'm really ready to dive into some more twists and turns. It has not been very twisty. So hopefully the story picks up from here. I'm kind of curious to see what actually is happening. So I don't know, I'm just kind of have mixed feelings about it. Right now I'm sitting at like a 3-star because nothing is really happening except for what led them to where they are now. So I know it's probably going to be important because they keep talking about how they can trust each other. The 4 of them need to stick together, and only they can trust each other. So what is really going on? So I don't know. So somebody must be lying, or something is happening somewhere on the rest of the ship crew. Maybe they're poisoning them or something, or trying to get revenge. But hopefully we find out some more twists and turns soon. Hopefully you'll keep me more engaged. Hopefully you'll get a better ending. We'll see what happens as we continue to read. Talk to you soon. All right, so it is now the afternoon, same day, and I'm now on page 266 of 330, so I'm getting very close to the end, so I thought I'd come on and update you. And so a lot more has happened. One of the things that definitely surprised me wasn't talking about the main character, Brooke's family, her 2 kids and her husband, and how she was out on a deep sea diving work trip, and she had to find out that her family was in a car accident, and so they all ended up perishing, which was definitely surprising. I did not see that one coming, that she is still living through her grief and trying to find her best way to live and survive without her family now, which is very sad and devastating. That was definitely a twist I was not expecting. And then I gotta talk about 2 more divers dying. They think it is cyanide poisoning, but is it a gas? Is it in their food? How are they getting poisoned? That is the real question. What is going on here? Is something else causing them to die now? So there's just the main character, Brooke, and Andre are the 2 divers that are left. which is super scary and crazy. What is actually really happening? I don't have any real guesses. I don't know if Brooke is doing this and she's not fully aware of it, she's not fully present, or is she an unreliable narrator? Is she getting back at these people for a specific reason? I am not sure. So tell me if you've been reading this, what are your thoughts up to this point? What's really truly going on? All right, I will come back with the last update once I'm done with the book. All right, so just a little while later, and as nobody's surprised, I have finished the book The Chamber by Will Dean. Let's just remind everybody what it looks like. It is 330 pages, and it is the most recent release by Will Dean. And so, yeah, so I did go ahead and finish this book. So some final thoughts was that I still don't know if I believe the ending that Andre did it. It's still kind of up in the air. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe Brooke did it. Or I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I believe the ending. What are your thoughts on it? Share it down in the comments. If you did read this along with me or interested in reading it, let me know what you think of this as well. Overall, I liked the book. It was okay. It didn't have enough suspense or twists as I thought it would. And so my overall rating for this book is 3 stars. I'd recommend it as a quick read, but it was good. It was a good read. It's a solid read. But I just, again, like I said, it wasn't as thrilling as I thought it was going to be. I did enjoy reading about the deep sea diving and learning more about that profession and the pressures involved and the stresses involved. But it's just a lot of stories, backstories, and just kind of what happened to them leading up to this final dive. But yeah, so I didn't quite get the ending that I was looking for. So definitely share your comments down below if you really did enjoy these vlogs as well. Let me know if you'd like me to do another spoil-filled vlog in the future for maybe say the month of December. If you have a recommendation of a book you'd like me to read and do a vlog like this for, please let me know, share it down in the comments. If not, if you just want to say hi and you don't really want to share any comments, go ahead and put some kind of emoji related to water of some kind. And so yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this new type of spoiler-filled vlog. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.